Lizzie had always dreamt of a happy marriage and of a home filled with love, laughter, and respect. As a little girl, she had seen how her parents lived. Her mother and father were partners, friends, and true companions. They worked together, made decisions together, and most importantly, they respected each other. So, when she met Oliver, she thought she had found the same kind of love. He was handsome, gentle, and full of sweet words. He knew how to make her laugh and how to make her feel special. He even promised her a happy life, and she believed him. She trusted him. But the moment she stepped into his house as his wife, everything changed. Lizzie was barely a week into marriage when she noticed something strange. Oliver was not the man she believed she had fallen in love with. Suddenly, he stopped coming home early. He would go out at odd hours and come back with the smell of cheap perfume on his clothes. He became cold and distant, and sometimes, when she tried to hold his hand, he would pull away as though she was a stranger. One night, Lizzie gathered courage and asked him, "Oliver, why are you always coming home late?" Oliver, who was lying on the couch scrolling through his phone, did not even bother looking at her. He scoffed. "Are you my mother? Am I a child that you will question my movements?" Lizzie swallowed it. "I am your wife, Oliver. I just want to know." Oliver cut her off with a laugh. "And so what? A man cannot enjoy his life again. If you don't like it, pack your things and leave." Lizzie froze. Leave? Just few weeks into the marriage? That was when it dawned on her that she had married a man who was not just a womanizer, but also a heartless one. And to make things worse, he had a solid supporter, his mother, Madame Agnes. If Lizzie had thought that Oliver was her biggest problem in the marriage, then she was wrong, because Madame Agnes was a bigger one. From the very first day she visited, Lizzie knew she was in trouble. The old woman had barely stepped inside before she started giving orders. "Lizzie, have you swept this house today?" Lizzie, who had been cleaning all morning, wiped her forehead and nodded. "Yes, Mama, I have." Madame Agnes looked around, and her face was full of disapproval. "You call this place clean? Did my son marry a lazy woman?" Lizzie was shocked. Lazy? After she had been on her feet since 5 a.m. She wanted to protest, but she stopped herself. She had been raised to respect elders. However, Madame Agnes made it hard. She started coming to the house more often, and whenever she came, Lizzie became a servant. She would sit comfortably on the couch, watching TV, snacking, and making mess on the floor, while Lizzie cooked, washed, and picked up after her. As for Oliver, he would go out to chase other women, while his mother ensured that Lizzie never rested. One day, Lizzie summoned up courage and tried to talk to her mother-in-law. "Mama, Oliver is my husband. Can't you talk to him to stop?" But Madame Agnes cut her off before she even landed. "Stop what? My friend, shut up. A man is a man. Oliver is not a small boy. He can do whatever he likes." Lizzie looked at her unbelievably. "But Mama, I am suffering. I need my husband." Madame Agnes laughed coldly. "Look, your job is to take care of the house and give me grandchildren, so stop complaining and focus." Lizzie felt hopeless and helpless. Every night, she would cry herself to sleep, wondering why she had not even been able to conceive a child since she married Oliver. At least, her child would be her consolation. But then she thought maybe it was nature protecting her from bringing a child into the suffering. She continued to endure all the humiliation and insults from both mother and son until their cup got filled. One afternoon, Lizzie was sitting in the living room with Oliver when Madame Agnes walked in with a young woman. This lady was beautiful, dressed in a tight attire and smiling shyly. Lizzie looked at them confused. "Mama, who is this?" Madame Agnes smiled proudly. "This is Sandra. She is Oliver's new woman." Lizzie's heart skipped a beat. "Excuse me?" Madame Agnes kept on smiling as though she had done something wonderful. "Yes, I brought her here to help you." Lizzie stood up in shock. "Help me?" "Yes, at least now Oliver will stay at home more often because there is a side chick at home. You will get to see him every day. It is a win-win for both of you." Lizzie turned to Oliver, expecting him to say something, expecting him to defend their marriage. But Oliver grinned like a child who was about to receive a new toy. "Mama, you have done well." Then, in front of Lizzie, he took Sandra's hand and led her into their bedroom. "Come, let me show you around," he whispered to her. Lizzie felt her entire world collapse. She couldn't breathe. She turned to Madame Agnes with rage and pain. "Mama, so it has gotten to the stage where you will bring a side chick into the house for my husband? For what exactly? Were you treated like this in your own husband's house?" But Madame Agnes rolled her eyes as though Lizzie was stupid. "Don't question me, little girl. Accept your fate." Then she walked away, leaving Lizzie alone in her pain. Lizzie felt sick. She ran to the back of the house and collapsed on the ground, crying her heart out. She thought of everything she had endured, the humiliation, the insults, the disrespect, and at that moment, something inside her snapped. She wiped her tears, took a deep breath, and smiled. "I will not leave you, Oliver. I will stay and frustrate you and your mother. Since you don't like peace, then you will taste violence." And just like that, Lizzie's heart changed. That night, she made her first move. She packed her things and marched out of the master bedroom. Oliver was too busy celebrating his new relationship to even notice. Sandra, the so-called new side chick, was busy giggling and blushing at every word Oliver said. But Lizzie didn't care. She went straight to the guest room, shut the door, and slept like a baby for the first time in a long while. She would no longer have to worry about a husband, nor would her mother-in-law see her to enslave. No one would dare to disturb her now. She was free, and she would choke them with that freedom. The next morning, Lizzie was woken up by the appetizing smell of fried eggs and tea. She stretched lazily, taking her time. For the first time since she got married, she was not in any rush to get out of bed. "Hey, what a sweet life," she said, smiling to herself. By the time she finally stood up, she was sure that the food would be ready. So she walked into the kitchen casually, pretending as if she was just passing by. Sandra was there, cooking like a good housewife. Without permission, Lizzie picked up a plate and started scooping the eggs like it was her personal buffet. Sandra's eyes widened in shock. "What are you doing?" she asked. Lizzie smiled sweetly. "I'm taking food to eat." Sandra snatched the spoon from Lizzie's hands. "This food is for Oliver." Lizzie laughed loudly. "You don't know how this house works, do you?" Sandra looked confused. "See, you need to behave if you want to last in this house," so Lizzie warned. "You are the new catch, right? If you want Oliver to marry you, you better play your game well. and I have a huge role to play in that decision. Sandra froze. Lizzie saw the doubt in her eyes. Then, like magic, Sandra stepped aside and let Lizzie take the food. From that day, Lizzie changed completely. She stopped doing anything in the house. She would not cook nor clean. Instead, she sat like a queen enjoying the show. And the best part of it, she turned Sandra into the new housemaid. Lizzie would call Sandra, randomly giving her task. Our wife, come and wash these clothes. Our wife, fetch me some water. Sandra was confused but thrilled. Why are you calling me our wife? She asked one day. Lizzie smirked. Are you not Oliver's new wife? You should be thanking me. Soon I will approve your appointment. Sandra was surprised. She loved the idea of eventually being Oliver's wife. But she had not signed up for the baggage that came with it. She had expected a life of romance and pampering, not house chores and stress. She tried to complain to Oliver. Your wife is stressing me, she cried. Oliver was angry. Lizzie, stop behaving like this. Show Sandra some respect. Lizzie laughed in his face. Or what? You will send me away? Please do. Oliver was speechless. Lizzie was not even scared of being sent out anymore. What was fueling her recent boldness? Madam Agnes too soon noticed the changes in the house. Lizzie was no longer obedient, neither was she suffering, and worst of all, she had turned Sandra into a housemaid. One afternoon, Madam Agnes called Lizzie rudely. Lizzie, sweep this house now. I cannot sit in a dirty place. But Lizzie folded her arms and leaned against the wall. Mama, that is Sandra's job. After all, she is Oliver's new wife, our wife. Madam Agnes's eyes darkened. You are still his wife. You must do your duty. Lizzie smirked. Mama, I thought my job was only to give you grandchildren. Since I have not given birth yet, I have no other duty. Madam Agnes almost choked on her own spit. In order to save her face, she turned to Sandra in frustration. You, sweep this house now. Sandra shrugged. Mama, I didn't come here to do chores though. I came here for Oliver. Madam Agnes's mouth dropped open. Sandra went into the room and started packing her things. I cannot suffer in another woman's house, she grumbled. And with that, she walked out of the house. Madam Agnes was shocked beyond words. She had never seen anything like this before. Out of anger, she too left the house. Oliver was furious when he returned home. Lizzie, can you see what you've done? You made Sandra leave. Lizzie shrugged. It is not a big deal now. Go and find another side chick, she said casually. Oliver didn't take what Lizzie said to heart. He expected that since Sandra was no longer in the house, she would return to her normal self. The quiet, obedient wife who woke up early, cooked his food, washed his clothes, and acted like his personal maid. However, what he did not expect was for Lizzie to fully sign out of wife duties. The next morning, Lizzie woke up late, stretched lazily, and took her sweet time before coming out of her room. She walked past Oliver, who was seated on the couch waiting for breakfast, and ignored him completely. She slumped onto the chair, picked up the TV remote and started flipping through channels. Oliver coughed loudly. Good morning, Lizzie, he greeted, expecting some respect at least. Lizzie yawned and scratched her head. Morning, Oliver. So, what are we eating today? Oliver froze. We? Yes, we. Aren't you supposed to be cooking? Or have you called your mother to bring another woman for you? Oliver almost choked. Lizzie, stop behaving like this. Sandra is gone. You should go back to your duties. Lizzie threw her head back and laughed like a villain in a movie. Go and bring another woman to do the work for us. Oh. See, I am the first wife and I am old enough to have junior wives around. Oliver couldn't believe his ears. Lizzie, you have changed. Lizzie smiled and crossed her legs. Oh, you are just seeing it. I was too soft before now, but not anymore, my darling husband. Oliver stared at her like a lost puppy, completely confused. He didn't understand what was happening. He thought Lizzie was angry because another woman was in the house. But why was she still behaving like this now? The next morning, Madame Agnes arrived full of confidence. She expected the house to be neat. She expected to smell delicious food from the kitchen. She expected to see Lizzie looking humbled and remorseful, trying to take her place back since Sandra was gone. But what she saw instead almost gave her a heart attack. The house looked like a war zone. There were dirty dishes in the sink. The floor was covered in dust, while Oliver was sitting in the living room looking miserable and hungry. As for Lizzie, she was sitting on the couch with her feet up, drinking juice like a queen on her throne. Madame Agnes screamed, "What is this nonsense?" Lizzie took another sip of her juice and looked up. "Mama, the house is dirty. You should clean it." Madame Agnes was shocked. "What did you just say?" Lizzie shrugged casually. "Mama, Sandra already left. And I am not doing the work. I have passed that level. Since you are the one who wants your son to enjoy life, you should help him. Or better still, you can go and find more women to come and cook and clean for us. And don't even think of getting a maid because I will fire her immediately. It is either you bring more side chicks for us, or you and your son do the work." Madame Agnes turned to Oliver in disbelief. "Oliver, talk to your wife." But Oliver was silent because for the first time he was scared of Lizzie. He didn't know what she was up to. Madame Agnes tried to force Lizzie to behave, but Lizzie refused. She stayed for a few more days, but things only got worse for her. Lizzie refused to cook. She ignored her orders and mocked her at every opportunity. One day, Madame Agnes got frustrated and packed her bags. "I did not raise my son to be useless. You are on your own, oh." Oliver was shocked. "Mama, are you leaving me?" "Yes. Since you and your wife like suffering, I will not kill myself. I'm done." And with that, she stormed out of the house, never looking back. Oliver was speechless. His mother had abandoned him. His side chick had abandoned him, and now he was alone with Lizzie, who didn't even care about him. At first, Oliver thought, how hard can housework be? He was a man after all. He could take care of himself. On day one, he tried to cook rice, but it got burnt. On day two, he washed his clothes, but realized there were still stains on them after they dried. Day three, he tried to sweep the house, but got tired after 5 minutes. And every time he looked at Lizzie, she was sitting calmly and enjoying herself. Why is she not even bothered, he wondered. That was when the realization hit him. All these years, he thought he was smart, but Lizzie was the real strength of his home. He remembered how she used to care for him, how much she suffered while he enjoyed life, and guilt swallowed him whole. He had maltreated a good woman, and now she had changed completely. Oliver knew he had only one option left: to beg. One night, Oliver knelt before Lizzie. "Lizzie, please, forgive me. I have changed." Lizzie raised an eyebrow. "Forgive you? For what? But you never did anything wrong, Oliver. You are a man. You were enjoying your life, remember?" Oliver was ashamed. I was foolish, Lizzie. Please, let's fix this. Lizzie smiled coldly. Fix what? Oh, if you want, I can go and bring more women for you. After all, you need someone to take care of you, right? Oliver was defeated. He had lost his wife emotionally, and he had only himself to blame. Now, he saw how much value Lizzie had been to him in the past, but he never appreciated her then. As for Lizzie, she did not leave the marriage. She stayed, but she was no longer the same woman. She set the rules now. She was no longer going to serve Oliver. She wouldn't take insults from anyone. Neither would she suffer in silence. Oliver changed too. He stopped womanizing and spent his days trying to win back his wife. He didn't care how long it would take him to win her trust back, and gladly accepted the process as his punishment. Thank you for watching the story. Kindly share your thoughts about the story with me in the comment section. Give the story a thumbs up and share the story out with your loved ones. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories. Thank you and remain blessed.